Churchill named Uganda the Pearl of Africa due to its gifted nature and landscape. Join me on the program Our Environment Samalukwago as I host the Executive Director of Uganda Wildlife Authority, Mr. Samuel John Mwandha. Before me is Mr. Sam Mwandha, the Executive Director of Uganda Wildlife Authority on the program Our Environment. You're most welcome, sir. Say hello to the viewers.
Thank you, Salma. Hello, viewers. You're welcome to this program.
Okay, let's start with Winston Churchill, who named Uganda the Pearl of Africa. What do you think was the basis of this?
The country called Uganda is beautiful. If you have moved around it with its Rift Valley, with the rivers and hills and lakes, and the fact that you can plant any crop anywhere and it grows, that alone shows you that it is beautiful and it is nice. And that's why Winston Churchill gave it the name, the Pearl of Africa, because it is indeed the best in Africa.
True. Mr. Mwandha, give us a little background of Uganda Wildlife Authority.
Uganda Wildlife Authority was established in 1996. At that time, we had the national, we had the NRC,
yes,
that then made a statute in 1996, and the matter was between the Uganda National Parks,
yes,
and the Game Department. The Uganda National Parks was that organization responsible for national parks, and then the Game Department was responsible for then the game reserves. And the work they were doing was similar, but there were also challenges to do with financing that they needed to address. So they thought that by merging, it would be easier to raise funds, it would be easier to do the work that was being done, and that is when it was done. Now there is another institution called Uganda Wildlife Education Center, the zoo in Entebbe.
That's true.
That has remained independent, but the current cabinet decision is to merge Uganda Wildlife Authority with Uganda Wildlife Education Center, and that process is ongoing.
Okay, what is Uganda Wildlife Authority?
Uganda Wildlife Authority is the institution responsible for managing the wildlife in this country. We do have 10 national parks. We also manage 12 wildlife reserves. And those national parks and wildlife reserves have wildlife, but some of them are just protected for the environment. I'll give an example of Mount Elgon. We don't have many animals there, so you wouldn't say we are protecting wildlife. But it is important for the environment, for the rains around eastern Uganda,
yes,
that serve Choga and River Nile going through to Egypt. So it is really important,
yes,
that we work together in terms of managing the environment. Benzol is another one specifically for the environment, but also remember that even when we are talking Queen Elizabeth Depot, those have a lot of wildlife, yes, but they have forests in them, they have rivers in them, and it is important to protect them as part of the environment. The Uganda Wildlife Authority has a vision that we should become the leading conservation agency in the world. In terms of conservation, how we manage the wildlife, how we manage the resources that we have. So that is our vision. And our mission is then to protect the wildlife, we conserve it, we work with the neighboring communities, and this should benefit both Uganda and the world. And so we are looking at doing exactly that. And we know that we can't do it alone. We need all of you Ugandans.
True.
The world in fact.
Are you still moving in the line of your mission?
Definitely we are, because we want to ensure that we protect. You see, the land mass we are working on is almost 10%
yes,
of the land mass of Uganda. So it's a big chunk of land. It requires a lot of resources. It requires cooperation with all stakeholders, the communities, non-government organizations, government departments, and so we are working towards that. And I can assure you that we are succeeding, because just get to any of these facts, you'll see that the number of wildlife is growing. The future prospects of the Uganda Wildlife Authority is really embedded in our vision, the leading conservation agency in the world. And what we have done to get there is to implement various activities. We have anti-poaching, we have activities against illegal wildlife trade, we have activities that help the communities appreciate the value of these protected areas. So we do community conservation, we do research and monitoring, and also we have to have infrastructure. So we do roads, we construct our own staff quarters to ensure that we have staff and people comfortable to do work. And so the prospect is good. And as I mentioned, our wildlife has been growing. For example, the Uganda Corps, 30 years ago, we had about 40,000 in the country. Now I have over 100,000.
That's great.
Elephants had dropped to 2,000. We have over 8,000. And the gorillas were like 300. We have now over 500 in the country, Uganda. So you can see the prospects are very good. Our role is first and foremost to conserve the wildlife. And to do that, we do anti-poaching activities. We address illegal wildlife trade. But the other part is to engage the communities to also be able to conserve. And so we create awareness. And then we have a huge piece of work related to what we call the human-wildlife conflict, where the wildlife gets out of the park, damages people's resources, and we must find ways in which we try to intervene and reduce that conflict. And so we do human-wildlife conflict mitigation. And then we also do tourism. Because for us to raise money to be able to do the activities that we do, we need to find business. And so we sell gorilla permits. If you are getting into a park, we ask you to pay only 20,000 as a Ugandan, so that you are able to help us get the money that we plow back into conservation.
Tell us about tourism under Uganda Wildlife Authority.
Tourism under Uganda Wildlife Authority has a number of activities. Most people think that gorilla tourism is the biggest thing, but actually it is not. The reason gorilla tourism looks big is that it brings in big money. Because if you're a foreigner from outside of Uganda, you will pay $700 for 1 hour with the gorillas. But of course, when you are moving to the gorillas, there will be a lot more in the video of Uganda that you will see. So that is assumed to be the biggest. But actually, the majority of visitors are visiting Queen Elizabeth and Action Falls. And there you can do game drives, there you can go on a boat cruise on Kazinga Channel, Queen Elizabeth or River Nile, up to the Action Falls itself. You can do nature walks, you can do bird watching. In Kibale, you can do chimp tracking. In Semliki, you can go to the hot springs. So there are a variety of activities that we do that are part and parcel of the tourism that we sell as Uganda Wildlife.
As Uganda Wildlife Authority, how have you managed to protect the 10 national parks, 12 wildlife reserves from poaching?
There are several ways. Let me go stage by stage. One, we have units within our institution. The first is the intelligence unit. The intelligence unit gathers information that can lead to knowing whether poachers are going in or not. So we have people who undertake intelligence. They are out there in the field. They are listening to potential poachers, and they're able to tell us there is likely to be poaching in this location. So we try to stop the poachers from getting there before they do. Then we have a law enforcement unit. This one is the one that does the operation. For it, with the rangers, they are trained like soldiers. They go out there, they patrol the park, and if they find you, they arrest you, and you're taken to court. And then the third arm is investigation. If you are arrested, the one who arrested you will not be the one who will prepare your file in court. So we'll have the investigation who then details what happened and prepares a file that is fit to go to court, and you can be prosecuted. And when they have finished the file, they hand it over to our prosecution unit, which is the fourth arm, which then works with the DPP, and you are brought before courts, either magistrate or judge, and your case is listened to, and the magistrate will decide whether you are guilty or not. So those four work together. Now, together with them is the community conservation arm. Because you see, we should not be just arresting. We should be providing information to the people so that the people are aware that it is wrong and illegal to go into a national park and start hunting. So the community conservation arm undertakes regular sensitization of the communities and brings out the value of conservation and the environment, and tries to help the people stop the illegal activities. So that is how we work to stop poaching in the national parks and reserves.
What does traditional savanna safaris mean to Uganda Wildlife Authority?
The traditional savanna parks are like Lekimuro, as you go to Barara, like Queen Elizabeth, Maction Falls, and Keko. At the same time, we have Kiamike Wildlife Reserve, we have Torosoni Wildlife Reserve, and we have Mateniko and Bokora Wildlife Reserves. Those traditional ones are the ones where you find lots of wildlife, because most of the animals are grazers or browsers. They need small shrubs. And because of that, they need the savanna, where you find mainly grassland and some shrubs, where they can easily run if they are attacked by a predator like a lion. And so that's where we have the big numbers. And those are also the places we can allow in big numbers of tourists, because the impacts are less. You're not going to walk around, you'll be moving in a car. And so they are very important. At the moment, well, before COVID, Maction Falls was bringing in the biggest number of visitors, followed by Queen Elizabeth. And so you see that already we'll be getting a lot of money that we then plow back into conservation from those two national parks, because they are the ones bringing the biggest number of people.
Why is it that during COVID, most Ugandans have gotten a chance to explore more of the sites in Uganda?
Yes, and there are two reasons. One, the Ugandans all had their money previously, unfortunately, preferred to travel out of the country. They needed to jump into a plane to go to Mombasa and go to Dubai and South Africa.
That's true.
And when you look at those, Uganda has better things to see than any of those places. But anyway, where I grew up, I was told that if you have not traveled, you think it is your mother who is best. I think they assumed that was very literal, and so they wanted to go and see the other places. But you need to know how your mother cooks fast. So they needed to visit Uganda. So because of COVID, many could not travel. So they had an opportunity to move around Uganda. Actually, we've got quite a good number of Ugandans visiting our national parks, more than we actually anticipated. The other aspect is the misconception that to visit a national park is expensive. And I just told you earlier that entry into Maction Falls is 20,000 shillings. The challenge you will have is, how do I get there? And now we have buses here at Uganda Wildlife Authority. If you organize yourselves and you do number, you can drive you there. And so you only pay 20,000 get there. And the other misconception is that if I go, I must live in a lodge that charges in dollars. Now, the lodges have also learned now that they need to allow people to pay based on their resources. And they have, most of the lodges in our parks now have a rate for Ugandans, which is different from the rate for foreigners. But also there are lots of other places outside of the parks where you can sleep and still be able to reach the park early in the morning.
Yes.
Do your game drive, sit on a boat, do a launch trip, see all the wildlife you want to see, and enjoy yourself in a national park.
Okay, Mr. Mwandha, what is your role in the environmental protection?
Our role in environmental protection is that we have 10 national parks, we have 12 reserves. Their total area is about 20,000 square kilometers. That 20,000 square kilometers is part and parcel of Uganda. It is part of the environment.
Yes.
As I mentioned earlier, it is 10% of the land cover of Uganda. Now, if it is 10% of the land cover of Uganda, if we mismanage it, for example, by clearing the forests, where there are forests, like UWA ED National Park, or Rwenzori, or Mount Elgon, if we clear it, we will be destroying the environment. But we are protecting those forests. We are protecting the grasslands. We are protecting the wetlands that are within our area. And that protection, therefore, is a protection of the environment. Then, as we work with the communities, we also are creating awareness generally about the environment. Some of our projects are tree planting projects, which are part and parcel of the environmental protection. So that is our role as Uganda Wildlife Authority, to protect that is under our mandate, and also to encourage the communities neighboring our protected areas to actually protect the environment.
What is your economical contribution to that treasury?
That is a difficult one. Let me tell you why it is difficult.
Yes.
When a tourist comes into a park like Queen Elizabeth, you will pay entrance fees, which you pay taxes for. You will pay for a boat ride. You will go on a game drive. So that is money which we pay taxes for. But more importantly, that many people miss is the fact that this tourist, when he's coming saying, I'm going to Queen Elizabeth, he's landing at Entebbe. Okay, he's a foreigner, he's landing at Entebbe. They are landing fees for that aircraft, even if it's not Uganda. He's going to get a taxi to take him to a hotel. That taxi is buying fuel. The man is employed, who's driving. And so there is money there coming into the country because of that tourist. He's going to see in Serena, for example, and he's paying money there. And there are jobs, there are taxes going into the treasury. And then you get another vehicle that takes him to Queen Elizabeth. That is fuel. Along the way, you will stop at the equator and buy a souvenir. Somebody made it, he's getting an income.
Yes.
You will stop in Marara and have lunch. Somebody is paid to cook that lunch. And somebody has grown that matop and this man is eating. And so it's a big chain of benefits. So when you ask me how much I'm contributing to the treasury, normally we miss the rest of the money, which is actually much bigger than what we is contributing. Now, before COVID, our budget was 129 billion in 2018-19 financial year. 129 billion. So that money is ideally the money that you can say goes to the treasury. The trouble is, the treasury should be paying me to do my job, but it does not. What our government did in the law was to say, when you collect money, keep it and use it as at source. So the 129 billion is the part for UWA, but it's much broader than that.
Okay.
Yes.
We understand as Uganda Wildlife Authority the challenges that you face before COVID and during COVID. Can you share those challenges with us?
The COVID challenges are really limited to money, resources, because we were, as I said, our budget was 129. This last financial year that ended in June, we made just about 20 billion. Now, that is less than a fifth of the budget we need. So we have limited funds, we can't do most of the things that we would have needed to do. What we've done is to focus on two things: stop the poaching,
yes,
and reduce the community, the human wildlife conflicts. That's what we are focusing on. Then the other problems that we face generally is we have the human wildlife conflict, which is a big problem. We have the poaching, it remains a problem. We have people who want to encroach, to get into the park and grow bananas and other things. Those are a problem. We have disasters. We've had floods and landslides in some of our national parks and fires in others. We probably had the one on Queen Elizabeth that ended up in a lodge and burning down a lodge. And so fires are a problem. So we have quite, and then we don't have enough infrastructure because we have about 2,250 staff. A few of them in Kampala, the majority in the parks. Not all of them have accommodation. We don't have enough vehicles to go around. So those are challenges that we face, but we are managing them as we move on.
Okay. What is your way forward?
Our way forward is that you, as Salma, I as Sam, and all the Ugandans, we need to work together. One, to protect our environment. Because when we protect the environment, then we have better climate and better weather, we can have better crops, and we can enjoy the benefits of living in the Pearl of Africa. But at the same time, let's go and visit some of these places like UWA is protecting the national parks. Incidentally, people think that going to do gorilla tourism is high. We charge $700 to a foreigner coming here, but we charge only 250,000 Uganda shillings, less than $10 to somebody who is, less than $100 to somebody who is Ugandan or East Africa. So you see that we make it easy for somebody who is a citizen to visit our national parks. So we encourage Ugandans to visit because when you visit, the money you give us, we will put it back into conservation and environmental management. Thank you.
Any message for your partners?
Our partners are many communities. We are neighbors. And neighbors sometimes know each other once.
Yes.
So we are neighbors. We need to remember that we are neighbors and we need to help each other to ensure that we manage these resources that we have near us. If there are problems of human wildlife conflict, Uganda Wildlife Authority is doing all it can to ensure that those are addressed. Secondly, to government, part of government of course, we need the resources to put back. Because look, tourism is one of those things that you will put in and it will bring it back as we go along. So we would like to ask that government puts in the resources. It is an investment. In the future, the benefit will be greater. And then to the rest of the partners, NGOs, business partners, please work with us. Let's put our resources together. Tourism is the best thing. And Ugandans, you have money and you want to invest. Tourism is the place to invest. Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you, Mr. Mwandha. Thank you so much. Uganda is among the few countries that is naturally gifted when it comes to wildlife species. So it is important to preserve and protect them. Otherwise, I am Sam Mwandha, but remember, COVID is real. Stay home and stay safe.
Also have enough air.
It is intellectually engaging.
And you can only become a leader when there are problems.
I like that.
The same applies to Rwanda, Burundi. So what are we federating?
Whether rats from another country can be, I mean, somebody must be there